Dance Bugs, and welcome to FAQ. This is your segment for getting to know dance and us a whole lot better. Here we answer your most frequently asked questions. In this video, we're going to discuss how to plan for your wedding dance. We get this question asked a lot. So stay tuned to find out more. Okay guys, are you ready for this? Planning your wedding dance. Top 2 pieces of advice I would give any couple getting ready for their first dance is know your logistics and be realistic. So let's talk about the logistics. There's a lot involved in the logistics of planning your wedding and planning the wedding dance. So let's tackle some of these logistical issues. You've got to go into the studio armed with 3 important pieces of information. And those are your wedding date, your music, and your dance floor dimensions in the venue that you will be getting married in. So first of all, let's talk about your date. I can't stress enough how important it is to plan ahead, and plan ahead. So if you are getting married in May and it's April 15th, it's not really the most recommended time frame to start thinking about your first dance. Remember, when you're planning something as important as your wedding, there's so much going on. There's so much activity. So many different people need your attention. 2 weeks before that wedding, you are going to be most likely stressed, a little anxious. There's going to be so much going on. And then to try and add on learning a dance routine is not something that I would ever recommend. So make sure to plan ahead. So what does that mean? I always recommend starting to work on your wedding dance a minimum of 6 months before the wedding date. This will help to ease you into learning choreography and not feeling stressed about the whole process. This will arm you with plenty of time to get to know the choreography and to work with each other well in time for your wedding. So you'll be able to dance comfortably and confidently on that day. The other thing about your wedding date is count out the number of weeks you have from now until then, and then really ask yourself, how much time can you devote each week leading up to the wedding towards your wedding dance? You'll also have to make sure that you can coordinate this with your partner. So there is this schedule with you and your fiance, and then you want to be able to make sure that you can fit that schedule into your instructor's availability, or find an instructor that can accommodate your availability. So there's a lot of plates to juggle here with the date alone. Also, are you thinking of doing more than one dance? I've had some couples that will work on their first dance for their wedding, and then they also wanted to work on a scenario with their wedding party, in which case they would have to get together with their wedding party to work on the choreography for that. So that might also be another factor that comes into play when it comes to working out your schedule and making sure everybody can show up at the same time. And also, you want to try and be consistent, whether you're doing it with your wedding party or even just you and your fiance. I would say if you choose a day and time during the week, try to keep that day and time consistent, because the repetition and the consistency of the repetition will be key to feeling comfortable and confident during your first dance. The next thing you want to come armed with is your song. What is the song that you want to dance to for your first dance? I always recommend starting off by thinking about the song that means something to the two of you. Maybe it was a song that was playing when you first met, or you partook in a particular activity that meant something to you. So start there. Next, perhaps you want to think about looking at the lyrics of the song that you're thinking about, and make sure that it falls in line with how you feel, what you want to say to each other. Sometimes we've gotten situations where people bring in a piece of music that they really love, but it's but it's just not conducive to getting them to dance to it. A very popular one that was many years back was Andrea Bocelli music, which is very operatic. The issue or challenge with pieces of music like that is for people that are not dancers or don't feel comfortable dancing, it's very hard to find the beat for them. And so, you know, a good teacher will always find their way around that, but you really are starting already with a couple of challenges in the way. So I would recommend finding songs that have a clear beat. You can hear the lyrics clearly, maybe that you understand what they're saying in the lyrics. So if English is your first and only language, maybe that might be something that will resonate a little bit more with you and your fiance. So a couple of those things you want to keep in the back of your mind when you're choosing the music for your first song. Something else that's very important is your venue. Think about where you're getting married. Is it going to be in a hall? Is it going to be in a backyard? You need to know what kind of floor or surface you're going to be dancing on and how much space of that surface you're going to have, because that will definitely help your instructor with the type of choreography they're going to give you and help you navigate and maneuver around that particular space. So sometimes you're going to go to venues where the dance floor is cavernous, which usually never happens. But most of the time the dance floors are quite small and quite tight. So it really is super helpful if you can get the dance floor dimensions to give to your instructor. Then from the get-go, they're able to choreograph accordingly. If you're getting married in the backyard, will it be on grass that you're going to be doing your first dance? Is it going to be on concrete? Will it be on patio stones? Is it going to be on tile? All of these things come into play, because then we have to talk about being able to maneuver on those different types of surfaces and what type of footwear that you're going to wear. And that brings me into the next section under the logistics category, and that is your attire. Now this will go more for brides or anyone who will be wearing a dress with a train, anything that could impede your foot placement on the floor. Also, any type of attire that will limit the arm movement. So sometimes I get brides that come in and they're wearing off the shoulder dresses, and it isn't until much later that they realize they can't lift their arm up to do underarm turns. So understand, basically, we hope that when you start taking dance lessons that you have some idea of the dress or type of attire that you're going to wear on that day, and make sure you can move in it. So when you're trying on your tuxedo, your gown, whatever it may be, make sure that you can lift and move your arms comfortably. Make sure you can walk around in it without tripping. And especially for outfits that are long in the front or have long trains, you want to walk in them, because if you step on the hem, that will limit the type of choreography that your instructor will put together for you. So it's all doable, but the more information your instructor has, the better and easier and more efficient it will be for them to plan for your first day. That's one of the main things I always ask people is, have you chosen your gown or your tuxedo or whatever you're going to wear on that day? And will it impede your footwork or your arm movement? So keep that in mind when you're trying on wedding gowns, everyone, and or any outfit that might have a jacket. I had a bride one time that wore a pantsuit, and but she wore a little bolero jacket. The thing is, it was fitted to her, and so it was difficult to do things like underarm turns, which she didn't realize until much later on. So wardrobe attire, another thing that sometimes wedding couples forget to take into consideration when planning for your first dance. And lastly, among the major logistics section of planning for your first dance is schedule of events for the day. Where in the day are you going to be doing your first dance? Are you going to be doing it immediately after the ceremony? Are you going to be doing it after dinner? Are you going to be doing it when you first come into your reception venue, right after you've welcomed your guests? Are you going to be doing it with your wedding party, or are you going to be doing it on your own first? Also, will you be doing a father-daughter dance, son-mother dance, grandfather dance, grandmother dance, granddaughter dance? Like, there's many different variations on the first wedding dance. And if you do more than one dance throughout the night, you definitely want to plan ahead, way ahead, because again, the more people you get involved, the more time you're going to need for the different groups of people. So those are the main points involved in planning the logistics side of your wedding dance. So we want to remember, have your date ready to go when you go to the dance studio. Have your song or music. Understand your attire and the mobility you may have in that attire. Another thing to understand about attire is your footwear. So whether you are wearing loafers, flat shoes, high shoes, really understand, based on the surface you're going to dance with, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to comfortably move around the dance floor. Will you have a leather sole? Leather soles that are very, very new sometimes can be extremely slippery. So if you are going to be dancing on tile or concrete or linoleum, you may want to plan for the right type of footwear for that dance, but that of course will still look beautiful with your outfit. Those that want to wear high heels, that's another thing to keep in mind. Is the shoe a slip-on? Is it strapped on? Or is it a slip-on shoe that has a back to it, a heel? You definitely want a shoe that will be secured to your foot, especially if you want to do something a little bit more elaborate with some more movement in and out of your partner. Also, the surface of the bottom of your shoe. So again, if it's very slippery and very smooth, and it's a very high heel, that will impede or really affect the type of choreography your instructor will be able to put together for you for your wedding dance. So with attire, make sure you can move your arms. Make sure your footwork is not going to be impeded by your clothing, and make sure that your footwear will make it comfortable and plausible for you to move around the dance floor feeling balanced and secure in taking your steps. Know the venue and the dance floor dimensions that you're going to be dealing with, and know your schedule of events. So 5 main things to keep in mind when you're thinking through the logistics involved in your wedding day. This will help you towards planning the wedding dance and making it go as smoothly as possible. Now, let's talk about the other point that I discussed at the beginning of the video, and that is to be realistic. And this goes back to managing your expectations of what you are visualizing for your wedding dance. Things to keep in mind are you a dancer? Have you danced before? Is your partner a dancer? More often than not, when we get couples coming in to work on their wedding dance, one couple is not as naturally in tune with dancing as the other partner. So you need to take into consideration, if you are very comfortable dancing, you've got rhythm, but your partner does not, that will factor into the amount of time it's going to take you to put it together and to get you as partners comfortable and ready to do your first dance. The other thing with being realistic, be patient. You need to be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was a good dance. So be patient with yourself. try your best not to get frustrated. Be patient with your partner. They're there because they love you and they want you as a couple to look beautiful on your first dance that day. So really just give yourself lots of time. So that's why we tell you to really plan ahead, because then you can work at a nice pace that's not going to stress you or your partner out. Okay? And if you're one of the partners that needs a little bit more time, you need some more repetition, you've got that time to work with. So there you have it. Those are the major points that I always cover with my couples when they come in wanting to work on their first dance. Let me know if I've missed anything. Leave us a comment in the comment box below, or you can always email us directly at info@comedancing.ca. And we're actually also going to leave a link below with a checklist that you can download absolutely free to help you plan for your wedding dance. So keep in mind that we upload every week on a Monday our most prevalent FAQs. So click that subscribe button so you'll stay up to date on all of our FAQ videos. And we hope that you found this helpful. And if you know anyone else that can use some of our tips that we've given you today, please feel free to share it. We always love answering questions and helping people out get ready to succeed on the dance floor. Have a wonderful time. So we're going to see you next time when we're going to discuss how to prepare for your first showcase or competition. So stay tuned for that next week. In the meantime, have fun, happy dancing, and we look forward to seeing you on the dance floor.